Here we are. You're looking awful funny at me there, Slick Vic. Is everything okay?
Yeah.
All
Everything's
right.
well, man. Everything
All
is
right.
just fine. How are you,
Yeah.
Mr. Mosley?
Well, I just was making sure that there weren't any problems with the feed there because you had that look. I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. Doing fairly well. I've had a long week, so I'm pretty tired. And of course, we're here on a Friday once again as a result of such things. So
Sometimes life gets in the way, and you just got to power through.
yeah, sometimes
Right.
life kicks you right in the ass, and yeah, I feel you there.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm trying to move the logo here, but it's not really working out. Like it's for some reason our logo is all over the place. Not on our live feed, but on the recording. But it's okay. We can fix it. We'll fix that in post, as they say. But anyway, we're here once again, Wrestling with Power, episode 23 on Friday, January the 16th. We got a good show lined up for you guys. Got some recent news to talk about. Obviously, as we always do, we're going to be talking about the most recent SmackDown, not tonight's SmackDown, but the one before it, and Raw. Also, we're going to be doing a couple of fun segments here at the end of this day in wrestling history for January 16th. I believe that'll be presented by the one and only, the incomparable Slick Vic over there. And then we're going to play some more games. We played some games last week. We did a little Guess the Champion, Guess the... What did we do? Guess the card, or program, or whatever we called it.
Yes, the wrestler. Yes, the.
Yeah.
I think he did throw a card at me the other day too. But
Yeah. I've, I've tweaked it a little bit because, last week was more or less a test run. And so I've came up with a rough set of rules and tweaked it a little bit. I'll just go ahead and tell you, Slick Vic, I don't have anything prepared beforehand, so I don't have the pay-per-views written down. I don't have them pulled up in a tab. I'm just going to pull them up as I go because I think that's going to be the easiest thing to do. But there's some new rules in town, new sheriff in town, so to speak, with our guess with our guess what segment. Tonight's going to be guess the pay-per-view, and we'll make it easy for we'll make it fair for you, Vic. We'll put it that way. We'll make it fair for you.
that's okay. I'm ready for the challenge. We love to play games here on Wrestling with Power. So yeah, bring it. Just
Absolutely.
bring it.
Oh man, I put my media board up, or I was going to give you a Jesus, but no, it's gone. In the past, it's in the past. So Vic, we'll talk about some recent news, and if you've got any recent news, spit it out there. Usually, what I do is I'll just take screenshots of posts that I see on Facebook or wherever, and I'll save them to an album so that when we come here, I just pull up the album and I go through all the pictures. And a lot of my recent news is from the TNA show recently that happened. They debuted on AMC, and I did not watch the show. I really kind of wanted to and had all intentions, but like I say, it's just been a busy week. Did you get to watch that show, Slick Vic? Did you see any clips from it? Anything?
Actually, I did see one clip. All I saw was AJ Styles' promo, where it was, kind of a this is the house that AJ Styles built, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, if there's one person synonymous with TNA, I think it's AJ Styles. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
I would agree. I mean, I think, but there's some others. I mean, there's some others that I sort of think in the same vein as AJ Styles. Samoa Joe is one of them that I
Jeff
always
Jarrett.
think of. Jeff Jarrett, definitely. Even Kurt Angle. When I think of Kurt Angle, even though he spent, all that time in WWE and then he's known as this WWE guy, he had a really good run in TNA.
I believe his run in TNA might have actually been longer than his run in WWE, if you believe
I
that
think
or
so
not.
too. Yeah, I think it was. It was a longer run and it was a better run by some people's standards. I mean, he had some really good matches in TNA, and just different people that I think of. Um, but at the top of the list, absolutely, is AJ Styles. So apparently, you're saying he came out, he had a few words, and that's always cool. I mean, one would hope that he would show up on this big debut episode of TNA on AMC television. Really happy to see them getting this TV deal, actually, Slick Vic, especially with the WWE crossover and what they're doing back and forth. It's really cool. It's a really crazy time to be a wrestling fan right now. We got some. Let me see. You mentioned that actually. That's one of my screenshots. AJ Styles kicked off the first episode, so I've got a screenshot of that. Let me see. Former WWE star Daria Ray, otherwise known as Sonya Deville,
Yes.
made her TNA debut on Impact. So apparently she is now officially on the Impact roster, as well as Cora Jade. Elena Black has joined TNA. The former Cora Jade. I didn't really know her. Are you familiar with the?
She was in NXT. I don't think she ever made the. I don't think she got called up.
Oh, okay.
She got cut during one of their many, their yearly budget cuts that they say.
Oh, well. At least she's doing something now.
There was an old saying on the internet. Whenever somebody would leave WWE, they'd be like, Taz would be like, hey, Tanae, what's Daria Ray doing in the Impact Zone? Or, hey, what's Cora Jade doing in the Impact Zone?
Wow.
I'm doing a bad impression of it, but that was kind of the thing.
That was the thing. I didn't watch as much TNA back in the day as
I
you did probably. Oh, you didn't?
I did not watch as much. I've been to a TNA show in Chicago once, and Sting and Hogan were there. That was
during that era?
Yeah.
But is there anything that you remember in particular about that episode?
It was a two-parter where they filmed a live show and then they taped the next week's episode. So it was interesting seeing Hogan come out wearing one outfit, and then an hour later he's coming out wearing something else because they're talking about next week's show. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is kind of weird.
It makes me wonder, like, I think I've heard Jim Cornette give an explanation to this like once, but it's like, how did they keep kayfabe way back in the day when they were doing these types of shows where sometimes they would film a whole month worth of shows in one day, and how did they keep kayfabe then? I'm sure somebody out there in wrestling land will tell us.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, because that is a odd thing to do, and I mean, that's nothing really new with wrestling, right? They used to do that back in the day. They would do multiple episodes in a day or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, that is an interesting question. How do you keep kayfabe when you're doing that? It's not like a game show, I know they do that with game shows too.
Yeah.
But different situation, I guess. With that, I have one more piece of TNA news here. Apparently, Dixie Carter appeared on TNA's AMC premiere and got booed out of the building. Gotta love that. And it doesn't show it on this screenshot here, but apparently, like, Bully Ray came out and stared her down or something like that, and then they hugged, and then she got booed out of the building.
So he didn't put her through a table.
No, he should have. That would have been great. In other news, there's been a couple of reveals regarding WWE 2K26, the next big wrestling game coming out. And side note, they still don't compare to WWF No Mercy. Sorry. Man. But WWE 2K26, the first screenshot that I had, apparently it was something from Logan Paul, and like they had the logo behind him, and they noticed that it was the WWE scratch logo, so like the Attitude Era logo without the F. So that was one thing.
Get the
and
F
then Yeah, and then there's apparently it says CM Punk is expected to headline Showcase mode. So this is, I guess, going to be a CM Punk deal. Maybe he'll be on the collector's edition, or maybe it fits though with the scratch logo and everything. So I don't know. I'll probably buy that game. I bought the last one. It was pretty good. I had fun with it. But the one thing about these games, Vic, they're all kind of the same. You know what I mean? As is a lot of the sports games and stuff that come out these days. It's like, why come out with a new one every year that you've only upgraded, or you've only changed like a couple of things, and everything else is like a copy paste deal.
Sounds like most sports games.
Yeah, I mean, WWF No Mercy was sort of a copy paste deal, but we're talking about a different animal here. I mean, WWF No Mercy is king. I can't say the same for the 2K series. That's all I've got in recent news, though, Slick Vic. Sorry if it wasn't groundbreaking, but that's the only thing I've screenshotted this week. You got anything else for us, pal?
Well, if CM Punk is going to be on the cover, it'll be the second time. I do remember him being on the cover in the past. I believe it
2K13.
Yeah,
Or WWE 13. It wasn't even 2K at that point.
I remember that because him and Steve Austin had like this promo.
Yeah.
They teased the match, and we never got it. But
yeah,
that was cool.
I wonder why we never got that match. Was it just never really in the cards, or did they just?
I don't think Steve wanted to do it.
Yeah, probably not. Oh well. Maybe if they pay him enough, he'll show up in Saudi next year and wrestle. Last match at WrestleMania.
He hasn't been to a single Saudi show yet. He's. I'm sure they'll throw, X amount of money at him. Whatever he wants. He could buy a larger ranch for his cats.
I've read a lot of stuff about how they're like trying to get, supposedly, and I mean it's rumors, but it's totally believable based on what they've requested in the past and what we saw at some of these Saudi shows. But apparently they're trying to get like some of these old Attitude Era wrestlers to come back for WrestleMania and have a match, and they're throwing all kinds of money out there. It's like they don't believe these people have aged or something. Like they don't get it.
I was watching Saturday night's main event with John Cena's last match with with a large group of people, and some of them were wrestling fans from way back in the day. They're in the Hulkamania era, and they were going. There was like one or two people, one by one, going, "Hey, does the Ultimate Warrior still wrestle? Does Macho Man Randy Savage still wrestle? Does, Jake the Snake still wrestle?" I'm like, you're throwing out names from 30 years ago. Do you really think they still wrestle?
Yeah.
I mean, you'll find some wrestlers in their 70s that are still going, but come on, really? This is
not to mention like two of those guys you named are dead.
Yeah, so it's like the Saudis. Like they really think. I think I remember hearing like they wanted Macho Man Randy Savage on one of their shows, and they didn't know that he was dead.
It's believable, yeah. That's crazy, though. Man, they got the money. Maybe they can make it happen. Dig him up. I
love how they keep Randy alive in the Slim Jim commercials.
Oh, yeah, that is awesome.
It's great homage.
Good shit.
Art thou bored?
Yeah, they need to bring that one, but that was the best one. That was the best commercial.
I had to throw that one out there because it's the best one. Yeah,
that and the chip. Well, no, that is the chips. That one and what is it? The Romeo and Juliet one. I love that one.
Yeah, chips. Gotta have beef. Gotta have spice. Good stuff, pal.
Good stuff. Well, why don't we talk about some modern day reviews, Slick Vic?
I guess so. Shall I walk us through or trot us through?
Why don't you just skip through some SmackDown, and then I'll skip through some Raw, and then we can get to some more fun stuff. How about that?
Yeah, we'll run through this like the Warrior runs to the ring, and then we'll have some fun.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, good deal.
I can't because we like to play games here on Wrestling with Power, so I'm looking forward to the Guess Who segment.
Yeah, well, yeah, I am too. I'm as in the dark as you are right now. Like I said, I haven't pulled it up yet, so it's going to be interesting to see. Actually, Slick Vic, before we do that, do you have a gimmick today?
Yeah, actually, I got Elvira here, courtesy of a pretty infamous Hazard native.
I heard about that guy.
Yeah,
he's an alright guy.
He goes by his last name. He's got it tattoos and Ganon tattoos on him.
Yeah, say his name and he appears.
He's a good dude, good man.
Yeah. So the gimmick this week is a T-shirt. Great, awesome. But what about the back, Slick Vic? What about the back?
Hope I don't show you the back of the chair, but hey.
The back's where the money is. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Vic, I got looking at that, and when I bought it, I didn't even really, I saw that she had the beer in her hand. I'm like, that's Vic. It's, Vic has to have this. But I didn't notice that it's got wrote on it Fright Light or something. Did you notice that?
I did not, actually. I'm going to have to go back and check that out.
It says, it's like Fright Light, and then it says, official fear of 1991 or something. I don't know. It's neat.
I don't know if you can see the Elvira poster behind me, but this is when she was repping Coors Light. Let me see if I can get a little better angle of that. There's some.
Yeah, there you go. See? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. What did Tab think of that when she see? Because I didn't show her. I did ask a few details, but what did the missus when she seen it? Did she like it?
Yeah, she did. She's a huge Elvira fan. She's one of her heroes.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So she dug it. I dug it. And
cool, man.
Yeah.
Good times were had.
If you haven't, by all means, go check out Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Or hell, she did promo work for WCW back in the early '90s for Halloween Havoc. So she's got ties to wrestling. She was also in WrestleMania 2.
Yep.
So this is not just a random thing. Elvira has ties to pro wrestling.
Yeah. It all ties back to wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. All right. Thank you very much for that showcase for us there, Slick Vic. Let's move on to the SmackDown review, if you will.
SmackDown coming at you from Berlin, Germany. This is the SmackDown from January 9th. We start off with Randy Orton coming out for an in-ring promo, and he's super over in Berlin. They're singing his theme. Mosley, do you know the words to his theme song?
I know the first part. I don't know if I know the part after that, but like the intro, I do know it.
We like to sing here on Wrestling with Power, so why don't you give us a couple bars?
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that. Okay. Let me get some more liquid in me, and maybe I will. But it's like, okay. What is it? I hear voices in my head. They counsel me.
Yeah,
right?
I have the lyrics right here. Yeah, I hear voices in my head. They counsel me. They
understand.
They talk to me.
They talk to me. Yeah.
You've got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have the voice that has the knowledge and the power to rule your fate. I hear voices crying and so on.
Yeah. See, I didn't know that whole middle part, but I knew the beginning. Yeah. Sweet. Awesome.
So Randy grabs a mic and he says, never mind, because music hits again and the crowd starts chanting, "Whoop that Trick," as Trick Williams comes out.
Oh, God.
Once Trick starts talking, the crowd chants RKO and they boo Trick Willie. Trick talks about his lemon pepper steppers again, and Randy says he loves lemon pepper chicken, which I agree with. I mean, lemon pepper chicken is great. It's good, delicious stuff. Let me tell you.
Fantastic.
Trick respects Randy. Randy says he sees a lot of potential in Trick. They trade some threats, have a brief scuffle, and then The Miz comes out and gets RKO'd. Which leads us directly into a match because Trick Williams is facing Rey Fenix. So this is Trick's main roster debut here. He got to show off some of what he can do, but I felt like Rey Fenix was not the right choice for this because Rey's offense is way more flashy than Trick. Almost show-stealing, highlight reel material because Rey bounced around the ring, had a bunch of impressive moves. There was that second rope bounce into a super Hurricane Rana, which was a thing of beauty. In the end, Trick wins with a roll-up while hooking the tights. So, like I said, it's fun to watch for Phoenix's impressive offense and agility, but as a showcase for Trick Williams' debut, he should have faced somebody else because, he could have. I would have liked to seen Trick have somebody he can dominate against, and instead he just came away looking like he just barely won this match.
Yeah, for sure. And with Trick, now is Trick supposed to be a babyface because he came out and they were booing him, and he's like, "Well, everywhere else in the world they love Trick Williams," and I'm starting to like, did that crowd just turn on him for some odd reason, or did they just really? Well, at first I really thought it was because Orton's so over that they're going to boo Trick Williams, but they continued to boo him through the match with Rey Fenix. So, like, is Trick inherently a heel or is he a babyface?
Yeah, he's the heel here. Trick is the heel.
But is he traditionally a heel? I mean, is he like, does people know him as a heel and that's why they're booing him? Or
yeah, he was definitely a heel in NXT because I remember him feuding with Joe Hendry for a while. Oh, I said his name.
Uh-oh.
Shit. Anyways, I guess he didn't hear that. So,
yeah.
Anyways, backstage, Julia gets asked what regaining the title means to her. Julia replies with a, "Huh?" and then says she'll beat up Alexa Bliss later. Arrivederci. Damian Priest says he won the war against Aleister Black and now he wants to be in the world title picture. Fine with me. Drew McIntyre comes in. Priest tells him he'll come after him if he wins tonight and leaves. Drew taunts Cody some more, including flashing Dusty's old watch. The nerve of this man. You know what Dusty had to do for that watch? What he did? The hands that watch has traded through all the way to get back to Cody?
He wore that watch up his ass for 5 years.
All right, we find out Charlotte Flair is not here from Alexa. Then Lash Legend and Nia Jax show up and taunt her some. Moving on. Next, we've got a match. We've got Julia versus Alexa Bliss for the Women's U.S. Championship. There was no big intros for this match, which I thought was rather surprising. I like when they do these intros for a world title match or any title match.
Yeah.
Julia's got some great facial expressions. There was a moment where she grabbed Alexa by the hair and looked like an absolute boss. But this was a very short match. I like Alexa, but I think I've said this a few times now. Her strength is in her character work and her promos and not her matches.
Yeah.
Julia wins with the Northern Lights bomb. It felt like there was way too much interference going on. I would have had Julia booked similar to how Asuka was when she first debuted, where she was destroying girls left and right. Here they have to have Kiana James and Lash Legend interfere to help her score the win. Skip this shit. Skip the post-match beatdown while you're at it. Anyways, I know you're a big fan of Julia, so I want to hear your thoughts.
I see something that I think I've saw for a while in her, and I think that when she lost the United States Championship, that during that period of time when she wasn't the champion, somebody must have given her a talking to and was like, listen, you got to up your game. And because it was clearly different seeing her coming out to the ring during this match, all berating the crowd, all the facials that you talked about. She is, she's got some more life to her now, you know what I'm saying? And but yeah, I am a big fan of Julia, and I like this match too. But I'm with you. Like, Alexa Bliss is kind of hard to believe because she doesn't look like she could beat up a stuffed animal. Like it's hard to believe that she could beat anybody up.
She carries a stuffed animal to the ring, or
I know,
a doll rather.
But she's got stock, you know. She's been in it for a few years, and I guess, yeah, maybe that carries her. But yeah, I wouldn't say 110% definitely you have to skip this match because it's that bad. It wasn't that bad, especially seeing Julia and how she's sort of evolving. But it was kind of a bathroom break moment.
I still love Julia's Mortal Kombat-like entrance. Badass.
Yeah, with the mask and everything. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So Jordynne Grace has officially signed to SmackDown and will make her debut against Alba Fire later tonight.
Woo!
Hooray. Kit Wilson shows up and calls Nick Aldis toxic. Matt Cardona's back. Woo, woo, woo. He hypes up Cody but says he eventually wants a title shot. Are you serious, bro? You just came back. Like, get in line or what the hell? Anyways, we got a match. The Wyatt Six versus the MFT. First off, I loved the Wyatt's entrance here in Berlin. As soon as they turned the lights off, the Fireflies came out in unison. Great visual. Loomis and Gacy looked fantastic in the opening minutes of this match. Why aren't they wrestling more often? I'm not saying it has to be every week, but at least more than what we get now. Tala Tonga could use some more seasoning, but that choke slam he gave Loomis and the way Loomis sold it, great stuff. The MFT win when Solo distracts Howdy by stealing the magic lantern, causing Tama to hit the cutthroat for the pin. How are the Wyatts going to make their way through Hyrule's dark world without their lantern?
Good question.
Stupid jokes aside, this was okay. As mentioned, Loomis and Gacy looked great, and I want to see more of them, but this match felt pretty one-sided until the end. I would say watch the YouTube version for the highlights, but you're not missing much other than the MFT have stolen the Wyatt's lantern, which also makes me curious how their next entrance is going to be without the lantern. You know, without the light they come out with. It's going to be interesting.
Maybe they find that head that Bray used to pack around, or the Fiend used to pack around.
That'd be interesting. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Any thoughts on this match? This 8-man match?
Oh God, it was just a lot. I'm really kind of, you know me, man. I'm like, when it comes to these multiple person matches, I get lost in it, and it's hard for me to follow. But I'm a fan of everyone involved in this, and yeah, it was cool. I loved the entrance of the Wyatts. I thought the MFT they did really well, and they've been doing really well. So yeah, I thought it was good, but just good.
Yeah. The Miz tells Carmelo he's coming for the U.S. title sometime. Ilya Dragunov shows up and tells Carmelo he's going to fight for something different than the U.S. title as he goes into Nick Aldis's office. And then we have Alba Fire versus Jordynne Grace. Well, they did a better job for Jordynne than they did earlier for Trick. My poor Alba Fire. She used to be a dominant NXT UK women's champion, but a few weeks ago she got fed to Jade Cargill, and now she's got fed to Jordynne Grace. This match was something like 2 minutes long. Jordynne hit a few moves. Alba got a few lucky shots in, but obviously lost in a mostly squash match. Yeah, I mean, if you want to see Jordynne, if you're a fan of Jordynne Grace or you want to see her debut, and go ahead and watch it. But you know, it is what it is. Speaking of Jade, she comes out after the match to taunt Jordynne with her weekly. I wrote down her weekly muted catchphrase. I mean, what's the point? I mean, at this point, if you're gonna keep muting her saying "bitch," you know what's the point? It's like when I unless you're watching it live, I guess. When I watch it on a delay, I hear Jade say, "I'm that."
They mute it after the fact because they did the same thing to Gunther. He's been saying "bitch" every week for the last month, and now, I noticed that watching a replay.
I had that written down too. Yeah, Gunther is getting the same treatment now too.
Yeah,
I made John Cena tap out like a.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid.
I mean, I thought being on SmackDown's not on Netflix, but I thought even on Netflix, you know, they're muting certain words. I thought we can get away with this kind of stuff now.
Yeah, I guess not.
Well, if you're Cody, you can tell The Rock to go fuck himself.
Yeah, in front of a live crowd, and yeah.
All right. So Sammy says he wants to face Drew McIntyre. Hold on. Let me get your thoughts. Any thoughts on Jordan Grace and Alba Fire? I know you're a big Jordan Grace fan.
Yeah, I've been vocal about that. I am a big Jordan Grace fan. I thought she did solid here, and it took away from it a little bit for me. No offense to Alba Fire, but why is she wrestling in dress clothes like she's in front desk girl at a lawyer's office?
She's in the Secret Service, man. Come on.
I know that, but still, I mean, you can have some clothes backstage, and then you can have some in-ring gear. I thought that watching this match, Jordan Grace looked like a wrestler, and Alba Fire did not. But Alba Fire didn't do terrible, and like you said, she did get in some offense, so it wasn't a complete squash. But Jordan Grace has been top of the division in TNA for a long time. Her popularity, even before this whole crossover with WWE thing started happening, like she started showing up. She was sort of the beginning of that, and for good reason. She's a star, man. She's a star, and she deserves it.
Remains to be seen.
I love her. I love her look, everything about her. Like I love, she's great. She's great. I can't wait to see what she does from here.
Okay. So Sammy says he wants to face Drew McIntyre, but his money is on Cody Rhodes winning tonight. Either way, he's coming for the title. In a rather humorous segment, Nathan Frazier says Nathan Frazier looks like he's getting jumped by Axiom, but surprise, it's Johnny Gargano wearing Axiom's mask.
Yeah,
I'm glad you thought it was funny too.
It was.
And then Nathan blames the real Axiom comes and saves Nathan. And Nathan's like, I thought it was you because of the turtleneck. All right, so we got Carmelo Hayes versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I guess this is a continuation. We're still doing the U.S. Open title challenge. And I wrote down lots of dragon screw uppercuts to Carmelo, which leads to a lot of knee selling. And that's really all there was to say about this match. Lots of offense to the knee by Nakamura, which Melo gets some brief hope spots in, but then gets cut off. Nonetheless, Melo eventually wins with nothing but net to get the pin. I thought this was forgettable. It gets a skip for me. What about you?
I thought that this match went on way too long. And I was disappointed because Shinsuke got a huge pop when he came out. A huge pop. I was disappointed that he didn't. I mean, he's not going to win. He's not going to take the title off of Carmelo this quick, obviously. But wasn't there somebody else that they could have used instead of Shinsuke for this? I mean, I don't know, man. He was gone for a long time. We thought he was gone from the WWE because he wasn't being booked well. And maybe he should have been gone if this is how they're going to continue to book him. He puts on great matches. He's just not getting his flowers. I don't think he's ever got his flowers. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to see Shinsuke win this one, pull out a surprise win, even though I knew it wasn't going to happen. And I thought it went on way too long.
Yeah, I agree. Cody hypes the main event and looks ahead to the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. The commentary team says the last hour is commercial free, which is great. Yes. I wish Raw did this last week with their main event.
Yeah, where was that? There were two long ass commercial breaks during the main event of Raw last week. Stupid.
So Nick Aldis announces next week there will be 4 matches where the winners will face each other in a fatal 4-way match at Saturday night's main event, and the winner of that match faces the WWE champion at Royal Rumble. No wonder why people were. We saw Ilya go into the office. You got, Cardona taunting Cody, and you got what else was there? There was Ilya Dragunov going into the office. Or I already said that one. Damian Priest, for example. So yeah, we got 4 matches. We got Miz versus Randy, Matt Cardona versus Trick Williams, Damian Priest versus Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn versus Ilya Dragunov. So, got something to look forward to next week.
Do you have any early predictions for that, Vic?
Well, since Drew McIntyre is world champion now, it's got to be a babyface that goes up against him. And you know what? Saturday night's main event is in Montreal. Do you know who is the hometown? There's one member of these 8 men who's from Montreal. He's winning it. He's winning. You know who?
You know what is so unfair? He gets to be the hometown guy in Montreal and in Saudi Arabia. How does that work?
He's not.
That's
quite
not
the
fair.
Not quite the hometown guy, but yeah, Habibi, he's gonna win it. Okay, Habibi.
He comes out wearing a turban and everything or whatever, and they're cheering him.
Main event time. Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship in a 3 stages of hell match. So, stage 1 is a straight wrestling match. I like the mind games of Drew goading Cody into hitting him with a chair, even if that was the gimmick for their last match. But the first fall was surprisingly short. Even after some fighting outside, Cody hits a springboard cutter for 2. Drew comes back, kicks Cody in the balls, Claymore kick, 1, 2, 3. Drew wins the first fall in really quick order. Stage 2 is the stage 2. It kind of sounds like a video game here. The second fall.
Round 2.
Yeah. The falls count anywhere. So Cody immediately goes through a beefy, spicy Slim Jim table.
Yeah.
But kicks out at 2. They make their way to the crowd where Cody takes a selfie with the fans' phone while biting on Drew's head. Hilarious. And Cody even tries to shove a banana in Drew's mouth. I guess that's one way to, get your potassium. Or if you play Donkey Kong, if you're playing Donkey Kong, you got to collect those bananas, man. It's
the banana horde.
Cody does his best Superfly Jimmy Snuka and jumps off the balcony to put Drew through a table, but it was only for 2 count. I was really surprised by that. I don't know if you felt that. Like, he jumped off a balcony, threw him through a table, 1, 2 kick out. It was like an immediate pin too.
Could have easily been a fall, but we live in this day and age where you never know.
Yeah,
I mean, you could get ran over with a Mack truck and they'll kick out at 2.
But you know what? Because literally 2 minutes later, Cody hits the crossroads through the announcer's table, which did not look nearly as good as the splash off the top of the balcony. But that Cody cutter got him the 1, 2, 3. So we're now tied at 1 apiece. Stage 3 is the steel cage match. Sadly, not the classic blue cage, but we get the hype music for when the cage is being lowered, which I personally really like. They take turns throwing each other into the cage. Drew hits a good-looking superplex off the top of the cage, the most super of plexes, as Wade Barrett called it. These two beat the hell out of each other, and it felt like a fight. It felt like an actual struggle, not a game of one-upsmanship. And when Cody hit the exposed turnbuckle and got hit with the Claymore, I legit thought that was it. That was a really good spot. And then the cutter off the top of the cage, the supreme cutter, as Joe Test put it, was crazy, even if it wasn't the most pretty, which I'll give a pass because of how much these two have made this look like an absolute struggle. But then the ending came when Drew looked like he was going to escape through the cage door when a hooded figure showed up and stopped him. I can't believe they would do another hooded figure right after they just did this whole thing with Austin Theory. But this time it wasn't Theory. I don't know if you thought it was, but I was like, who the hell is that? That better not be Austin Theory. It was Jacob Fatu. It was Jacob all along, Austin. Who comes in and beats up Drew, and then when Cody tries to break it up, Jacob starts beating on Cody, which allows for Drew to successfully escape the cage and win his 4th World Championship. So I really like this match. I liked the quick finish of the first fall. I had fun with the second fall shenanigans. The only complaint I have is the finish, but it wasn't terrible. It was just a bit odd. But overall, the big picture, this was good stuff. As I mentioned, I really liked the big fight feel they had. The action delivered. I think it's worth checking out. I was also happy Drew McIntyre won because he's been feuding with Cody forever and kept losing. And this was a surprise. This was a legit surprise. I didn't think they'd take the belt off Cody this close to the road to WrestleMania, especially on a SmackDown. So yeah, good shit, pal.
So yeah, absolutely. And let me start by saying, Vic, I did not watch this match. There was some bullshittery that happened. I was watching SmackDown, and I legitimately watched SmackDown all the way up until what I feel like was about to be the main event. Decided to go take a shower, so I paused it, came back, something happened, so I tried to pick up where I left off, but I had to cast it from my phone because I do it on the DirecTV app, and it started it over all the way back at the beginning. So I'm like, shit, well, let me just find the spot where I was. No, you can't skip through this program. So I'm like, I'm not going to sit here for another 3 hours waiting for the main event. So I didn't watch it, but I was quick to go and read what had happened and look up some reviews and stuff. And I'm going to have to watch it because it sounds like it could be, at least so far, a candidate for match of the year, maybe. I mean, you got Jacob Fatu coming back. You got the surprise of Drew winning. And everybody's behind him. Everybody is so excited that Drew won the title. You know, it's not like something that's going to go away. Like, Cody lost it legitimately. This is going to be a run for Drew. Cody's going to have to work his way back into the title picture. So a lot of people are excited about that, and I'm excited for it. Yeah, this is awesome. This is a great, great ending to SmackDown. Great main event. What can I say?
Let me ask you one more thing. I think we've talked, and we might have talked about this before, but what did you think of the whole "you can win by escaping the cage" rule? When I say escaping the cage, I mean like going through the door.
Yeah,
particularly.
So this was something that I think the WWF came up with, right? This was not a trope of old school cage matches from the NWA, AWA, things like that. So, being that I really started being a fan of wrestling, a regular fan of wrestling, watching the WWF, I've always been used to the escape the cage rule. I don't like the walk out the door rule because they always drag it out when they try to go out the door, and like realistically, if you knock somebody out, you could turn around and run out the door really quick, so I don't really like that part of it, but escaping the cage is something I've always been used to. I wasn't a fan of WCW or NWA or anything back in the day whenever that wasn't a rule. So I'm probably not the right person to ask because I always feel like escaping the cage is just a normal part of a cage match, even though I know it hasn't always been.
For me, it's pretty much the exact same thing. I grew up a WWE fan, WWF fan, and that was always a rule. So that was just something I've been accustomed to. But as I get older, or more mature, if you will, I don't know. Sometimes it just makes less sense. Like the cage is supposed to keep the heel from running away, keep other people from interfering.
Yeah.
Of course, that never works. The heels always escape, or people always still find ways into the cage. But I don't know.
Here's the thing I don't understand, Slick Vic. That is the original intent of the cage match, to keep the competitors inside the ring and keep people from getting inside and interfering. You know, it's supposed to keep them in and keep other people out. Why not put a roof on the thing? And I know that was sort of the mindset behind the Hell in the Cell, but like the Hell in the Cell, they took it to the extreme and they made it way bigger and like outside of the ring. Why don't they just put a regular roof on top of the regular cage?
They actually did do that, I believe, back in the NWA. They actually did have a roof on it.
I remember that because every time they'd go to suplex them, their feet would hit the roof. Like it was a very short. Make it a little bit taller, slap a roof on it. If you don't want anybody to get in or out, take the door, lock the door, padlock the door. You know, I mean, there's ways around this, but I don't know. If the ability is there to climb out of the cage, I'm used to that being a way to win. You escaped.
Yep.
So, and plus WWF No Mercy. I mean, you get up on the cage, you got to tap the shit out of that A button, and then you get out, and you know.
That was a pain in the ass, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that was SmackDown from Berlin, Germany.
Solid SmackDown.
Yeah. The main event was fantastic. I don't know if I can say the same for the rest of the show, but the main event was awesome.
The rest of the show was decent, but like the rest of the show was, you take it or leave it. The entire show, I think, was saved by that main event, though.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Would you like to take us through Monday Night Raw, or would you like to take a pause for the cause?
I'd like to take a pause for the cause, if you will. I have to go and take a piss for the cause, and maybe get another drink and a couple other things, and come back in a few moments. How about that?
Soon.
All right. We'll be right back. Anyway, we're back. Wrestling with Power. Back from that break. I'm talking about my dog outside will not shut up. We're going to move on over to some Monday Night Raw. This was Monday Night Raw in Dusseldorf, Germany from January the 12th, 2026. And obviously this was broadcast live at like whatever it is in America, like 1 or 2 o'clock in the day. So I think I speak for everybody when I say we watch this after the fact.
Yep.
But in an attempt to shotgun this review a little bit, I think that I don't know what happened before the first match, which was Bravo Americano and Javon Evans. Right?
Yep.
All right. Let me get a little sip before I. Cheers, Vic. Cheers. All right, so this match, Bravo Americano and Javon Evans. Boy, oh boy. We get a lot of Javon's high-flying style on display. There's a moment where the Los Americanos attempt a distraction. Obviously, Los Americanos are going to be out there with Bravo, so they've got all 15 of them. But only once, surprisingly. That was the one thing that I took away from this match. There was one attempted distraction that didn't go their way. It didn't make a difference. Javon, eventually, he hits a sky-high Spanish fly, followed by the OG cutter for the win. That Spanish fly was impressive. Sometimes I don't like seeing a Spanish fly because they look too choreographed, a little too phony. This one looked impressive to me. So props to both the guys for that. But, this is just one of those matches. If you want to see what Javon Evans can do, this was a good match to watch. I can't help but to be taken back by the fact that I really am kind of getting sick of the Los Americanos gimmick. I think that Bravo and Rayo, their real names need to come back, because I think they're being made to look like clowns out there with these Americano gimmicks. Any thoughts on this first match, Vic?
Same. I mean, yeah, just to further establish Javon, nothing more than that. And I am so over the Americanos. I miss Chad Gable.
Well put. Next, we get a backstage segment. Adam Pearce and Paul Heyman. Pearce tells Heyman that if Braun Breaker shows up with bad intentions, to tell him to leave, because tonight's not the night, and he's not in the mood. From that, we get an in-ring segment. CM Punk comes to the ring and delivers a short promo. He says that he's looking forward to who will be his next challenger for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then we hear Finn Balor's music hit. Finn comes down to the ring. He mentions that when Punk won the championship initially, Punk had said that he wanted to face several different people during his title run, and Finn Balor was one of those names that was mentioned. He never forgot that. Punk questions whether Punk says that's all well and good, but am I going to be facing you, or am I going to be facing you and the entire Judgment Day? Punk lays down the challenge for right here tonight in Dusseldorf, and the crowd goes wild. We think we might be getting this championship match, but Balor shoots it down, says that he knows how Punk works, and that Punk always gets the home field advantage when he gets these big victories, so he wants the home field advantage next week in Belfast, Ireland. Slick Vic, this sort of rubbed me the wrong way after the fact, because, spoiler alert, we don't see any more of Punk for the rest of the show, I don't believe. He doesn't wrestle. And they hype this up, they pop the crowd, they're like, yeah, Germany wants to see me out here wrestling, and then they don't. Usually that will lead to I don't know, maybe like a tag team match or something of that sort. But they really shit on the fireworks here. How did you feel about this? And maybe even the Adam Pearce segment from before, if you have any opinions on that one.
Well, I think Finn is a fresh challenger for Punk, which is great. I thought Punk's promo was good. You got some swift digs at Finn, but then also put him over. You know, he says he's a Finn Balor fan.
Yeah.
And then Finn name dropping Chicago was nice. I look forward to the crowd reactions next week in Ireland. But this is almost what rubbed me the wrong way was this is almost no different than the U.S. Open Challenge, where you could just ask for a title shot and you get it.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I mean, I guess they wanted to put Finn in the main event for next week, which makes sense because they're in Ireland. How did we get him there? Let's just have him interrupt CM Punk and ask for a shot.
Well, you know, Finn was the first Universal Champion, and then he had to relinquish that championship due to injury, and he never really got it back. He never really even got an opportunity to get it back. And maybe if he had mentioned that, to kind of bring people back up to speed and remind them that he is a former world champion, if only for a few hours, he won it, maybe that would have helped. I really doubt that Finn Balor is walking out the champion. Part of Punk's promo was, you know, anything can happen on the road to WrestleMania. Even asked my friend Cody Rhodes, referencing what had just happened on SmackDown. Cody losing the title to Drew McIntyre in a very surprising culmination to that show. But I don't think there's any chance of Finn Balor walking out with the title. I think that we're going to see CM Punk carry the championship through the Rumble, through the Elimination Chamber, into Mania. We're going to see, this is my prediction, we're going to see CM Punk hold that World Championship until Seth Rollins is back. And then we're going to see them renew that feud. And it's going to be Seth Rollins and CM Punk for the World Championship. And that's going to be the big ending to their, now what it has amounted to like a years-long feud between those two guys. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I don't see Finn losing, or I don't see Finn winning next week. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly likely that Punk wins. I mean, carries the belt all the way till Mania. I think. Do you think he will be in the Elimination Chamber match in Chicago, or will he be in a separate match?
Punk?
Yes.
I don't think he'll be in the Elimination Chamber match because that match is to earn a shot at the title. See, he doesn't need that. Yeah. So he's not going to be in it. He would be in it if he wasn't the champion for sure. But yeah, I think that they'll definitely have him in a match. It's in Chicago. They have to have him in. He might even be out there for the Elimination Chamber match. I think he might be out there during it. But I think he'll defend the title that night. Against who? I don't know.
Yeah, I think having him on a PLE in Chicago and not wrestling is kind of foolish. So
that wouldn't happen. They would burn the arena down.
Us Chicagoans definitely would.
They would burn the place down. Yeah.
Burn it down. Cook some deep dish pizza on top of that.
Yeah. Count me in. All right. So from that, moving on, we have a triple threat tag team match with Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day taking on Bayley and Lyra Valkyria and Asuka and Kairi Sane. Would you like to know what my notes are for this, Vic?
Yeah, please enlighten me.
All right. Verbatim. We've seen this before in 100 different ways, seems like, so I zoned out on this one. That's it.
Can I give you my notes now?
I would love to have your notes, yes, because I have very little for this event. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, mine aren't as dramatic as yours, but I'll start with one thing I did like. I liked Bayley's Macho Man inspired ring gear. That looked cool.
Yep.
But yeah, lots of action, but it just kind of felt like it felt samey. Like I've seen this before too. Like I wrote kind of bland. Yeah. There was a lot of action. I mean, it wasn't boring, but I was just kind of like, I wasn't invested. I don't know if I can say it wasn't boring. I'm going to stricken that sentence out, but let's just say I just couldn't get invested in this match.
I think the problem is it's not good enough to have a good match. Because this wasn't a bad match. It might have been a little bit crowded for my taste, but it was a good match work-wise. You've got some of the, upper echelon, top of the division talent in this match. You've got some up-and-comers for sure. Kairi Sane has never been as good, in my opinion, as she has been in this tag team, the Kabuki Warriors with Asuka. Liv Morgan coming back. It's great to see her back and to see her shine. Roxanne Perez has been working her ass off for months. You and me have been covering this, and it seems like she's on the card every single week. Bayley's basically a living legend. Lyra is, a lot of people are fans of hers. I'm sort of so-so on her, but she's improved a lot. So everybody in the match is good, and the work is good. And it's as far as a technical match, it's good. But like I said, we've seen this in several different variations before, whether it be Liv versus Lyra, or Roxanne versus Bayley, or Asuka versus who. We've seen different combinations of this before. It's stale. There's no emotion behind it. There's nothing to make me care who wins or loses this match. I don't give a shit.
No heat.
Yeah, there's no heat. There's no emotion. And if there's no emotional attachment to it, I zone out. And I'm like, okay. So that was my notes.
Oh, I felt the same way, man. It's a good way to put it. I was just not. I just said I wasn't invested, but yeah, I was zoning out too.
Yeah, good way to summarize that. After that match, we see Raquel Rodriguez attack Stephanie Vaquer again. Okay. That's it.
But did you notice how they cut the promo, like, at the top of the stage? That was very WCW-esque. I know you said you weren't watching a lot of WCW, but it was like reminiscent of when Mean Gene would introduce, like, say, Ric Flair, and they talk at the top of the top of the ramp. I was like, this is a weird segment here, but then it made sense because Stephanie's gonna interrupt and then just get beat up.
Maybe it was so Stephanie didn't have to walk all the way down to the ring, because I think that her leg injury is legitimate. I seen a picture where it was bruised up and looked pretty bad. I mean, not pretty bad as far as like being broken and she's going to be out of action, has to be stripped of the title. Obviously, we know that isn't happening, so it's not that bad. She probably doesn't need a boot in real life, but I think her foot really is hurt. So maybe they want to keep her off of it as much as possible. I don't know.
It's probably the same thing with Dominic Mysterio. Like his injury's not severe enough where they're going to strip him from the title, but they'll just keep him off TV for a couple weeks and then he'll be back.
Yeah, good as new. Get you some Epsom salt and put it in like a paint bucket.
Oh yeah.
Stick your foot down in there, some hot water. Fix you right up.
Good stuff.
From that, we got a match. Penta and Dragon Lee versus Bronson Reed and Austin Theory. So this match was lots of Dragon Lee and Penta getting the upper hand. They start out by getting the upper hand. And then there's a brief moment where Reed and Theory get the upper hand. But things go the other way again fairly quickly. Braun Breaker shows up out of nowhere and spears Dragon Lee in half. So Dragon Lee is on the outside. And I saw a different viewpoint of this. I don't know if it was like, I don't know if the WWE posted it or whatever, but like, it was Braun Breaker taking a full charge down that long-ass ramp. This is a long ramp, too, in Raw. And literally spear Dragon Lee in half. And over the last couple of months, it seems like Braun Breaker spears haven't been that impressive. This one was fucking impressive. After he gets done spearing Dragon Lee in half, he gets in the ring and he spears Penta. Alright, so that's pretty much the end of the match. Adam Pearce shows up and starts arguing with Braun Breaker while behind us we can see in the ring, It was kind of funny, actually. Reed hits a tsunami on Penta. So Braun Breaker and Adam Pearce are in the foreground arguing, and behind you can see Bronson Reed's fat ass climbing to the top of the turnbuckle and hitting a fucking tsunami. It was awesome. Breaker hits another spear on Dragon Lee back in the ring. There's some more arguing between Pearce and Braun Breaker, which leads to Braun Breaker snapping. He shoves and grabs Pearce in a rage. Pearce tells Heyman to get him out of here, and ultimately the Vision backs down while holding back Braun Breaker. Very, very heated segment. Adam Pearce is losing his shit. We see him lose his shit over much, much less, but now he's really losing his shit. And this segues into a backstage segment where Adam Pearce suspends Braun Breaker indefinitely. Heyman comes up and tells Pearce that was a big mistake because he saw Pearce put his hands on Braun Breaker first. Slick Vic, what were your thoughts about this entire segment? This was like the segment of this Raw. This was pretty much like the main thing of the entire show. If you're gonna see anything, you can miss the rest of it. This was the main event, main story here. What were your thoughts?
The meat of the show.
The meat and potatoes.
Well, first of all, Penta strutting over Austin was freaking hilarious. I popped hard for that.
Oh, I'm glad you noted that.
Penta and Dragon's tandem offense is good. Bronson Reed is my least favorite member of the Vision. While he's not terrible, the dude is just not that all exciting to watch.
Yeah,
especially compared to Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker's just so crazy, scary fast, and with his size and speed. It's next level. Have you ever heard of a game called Ace Attorney from Capcom?
Yeah.
Because when Braun Breaker was loading up that run that he does around the ring, Pierce just showed up out of nowhere and pointed at him like, "Objection!"
Yeah.
I popped hard for that too. I was like, "Oh my god, it's Ace Attorney!" It's freaking. I don't remember the character's name. He's in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Is it Phoenix? Something?
I don't remember. I've never really played an Ace Attorney game, but being a huge Nintendo fan, yes, I'm familiar.
So, how long is Braun suspended, if at all? Because
indefinitely.
Pierce put his hands on Breaker first. So,
yeah.
Paul Heyman's going to lawyer up next week. He's going to call Clarence Mason or something, and maybe Braun will be back on TV next week.
That's what I was thinking. Like, if Heyman finds a loophole here, what was the point? That brings you back to what was the fucking point then of doing all of this? Because Adam Pearce isn't going to get in the ring. You're going to be, if they bring Braun Breaker back and say he was not in the wrong, he was provoked or whatever, like, what was the point in doing the segment? To get heat for 7 days? Like, I don't know.
I will say this. Pierce brought the intensity tonight. He was like...
Yeah.
Like, that was like Mel Gibson level intense from his performance there. It was good.
He was like spitting and slobbering. He was so into it.
Yeah. So, I tipped my hat to his performance there. That was really good.
But, Adam Pearce, he's a former NWA heavyweight champion. I mean, he's a legitimate guy himself. We've never seen that on WWE TV. But, yeah.
Both general managers are former NWA World Heavyweight Champions.
Yeah. Pierce was, I think he held the belt for a long time, and then, what's the other one's name?
Nick Aldis.
I can't believe I couldn't think of it. I'm out of it today. Nick Aldis was a great NWA champion. That's when they started the whole Power show, and I remember there was this really funny promo that our mutual friend used to show me, and he would laugh over a lot, where Nick Aldis was like, he's talking about somebody, and he's like, old piss and vinegar himself. I'm going to have to look that up. and send it to you. But it's much funnier if you watch it, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me.
What I remember was L.A. Knight, then going by Eli Drake, was talking about his you see these shoes of a champion. You see this jacket, shoes of a champion. Wait, did I just say shoes again?
Oh man. Well, I just did a quick search. I didn't find anything, so we'll have to get that at a later time. But we'll get it. I'll send it to you, Slick Vic, and we'll put it up on the Facebook page as well for all of the fans out there to check out. Moving on from this, though, very, very heated segment here on Monday Night Raw. We get a pre-recorded segment. Obafemi is coming to the main roster. He relinquished the NXT Championship in order to do so. Vic, I wanted to talk to you about this ever since I saw it. We've been seeing these Obafemi promos for a while in these little video packages. How do you feel about him having to relinquish the NXT Championship in order to be brought up to the main roster? I would like to get your thoughts first.
I haven't put much thought into this, and I swear I somehow must have missed that promo package of Oba coming to Raw. Did they say like he's coming to Raw, like when he's doing his little walk? No,
they did not say that he was definitely coming to Raw. They said that he was being brought up to the main roster, and they had the little video of the NXT Championship sitting in the ring. So he relinquished the NXT Championship under the pretense that he was being brought up to the main roster. It hasn't been said where he's going to go. I'm assuming it's Raw. SmackDown got Jordan Grace. I think Raw got Javon Evans. So I don't know. Maybe it will be SmackDown. Who knows? But one way or the other, he's coming up, and I don't know if I agree with relinquishing the NXT champion. Let me ask you this, Slick Vic. What if, when you won the Intercontinental Championship, there was a rule that you could relinquish the Intercontinental Championship in order to get a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship? How would you feel about that?
I think that would devalue the IC title.
Yeah, it would.
Because you just win the IC title and immediately say, you know what, screw this, I want the world title.
Exactly. So I kind of feel the same about the NXT title. I mean, that is the developmental. Obviously people are going to get called up from NXT if they're good enough. Obafemi is, and he's over. Had the match with Cody Rhodes, did really well. Very impressive. But I feel like he should not relinquish the NXT Championship in order to do this. In my mind, the only reason they do that is so he doesn't have to get beat for it. So he can come into the main roster looking strong. Probably go on a run with a lot of wins. But to me, that devalues the NXT Championship because he's just like, all right, here you go. I'm leaving. Goodbye. Here's your belt back. You know what I'm saying?
It's also interesting because he lost it to Ricky Saints, and then like a couple weeks later he wins it back, which I think they only did because they wanted Oba to face Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, exactly.
And then instead of, why didn't he just drop the title back to Ricky and then just go back to the main roster?
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Why not? I'm with you. Drop it back to Ricky Saints and let him continue doing what he was doing, or drop it to somebody else up and coming. Don't just relinquish the goddamn thing, because now it's like nobody could beat me, so I had to give it up and move on to greener pastures. I don't know. Something about that rubs me the wrong way.
No, I feel you.
From that pre-recorded segment, that very brief pre-recorded segment, we are at the main event, Slick Vic. Finally, AJ Styles versus Gunther. And this is a match. You talked earlier, you mentioned about the introductions for the championship matches and how you like them. This match got one of those championship introductions. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
no championship on the line, but it got one of the championship introductions. And it really made it that big fight feel. You knew this was something important. And I do have a little bit more play-by-play than I've had over the past couple of weeks for this one. Not over the top, but we get, in the match, we get some grappling a bit before breaking into the hard-hitting strikes and chops. Gunther slows the pace after a commercial break. Then Styles picks it back up with a couple dragon screws and a string of offense that leads to a calf crusher. Gunther breaks the hold and gets the advantage again, but Styles counters and hits an impressive springboard leg drop onto Gunther's hurt leg. I loved this spot because it was so simple, yet so perfect. You just don't see this anymore. He already had the calf crusher on Gunther, so Gunther's leg is injured. Gunther's down, and AJ hits this springboard leg drop onto the leg. I don't know, that's just something so simple that you never see, but I love that spot right there. From that, Gunther recovers, gets a power bomb, but Styles kicks out at 2. They go into some back and forth strikes. Styles eventually manages to get the calf crusher on again. Gunther taps Styles' leg out of the ref's view. So this was the big thing about this match. Gunther actually tapped, but the ref was on the opposite side of the two contenders here, and he didn't see it. But AJ felt the tap, and because of that, AJ broke the hold. And then as the ref was off, confused and doing something in his own world, Gunther hit a low blow, followed by another powerbomb to AJ Styles, and picked up the 3-count fall. I thought this was a solid match. Maybe not as solid as the main event that we saw on SmackDown. Obviously not as solid, not as surprising. But it was a really solid match. Definitely match of the night. I think that goes without saying. I think that was a good choice on the finish. That was a very creative finish that I didn't see coming. Gunther doesn't technically pick up the loss, even though he tapped out. So he gets the win, but sort of AJ gets the win too. You know what I'm saying? Like, neither guy leaves looking bad. And I think that they'll get some more mileage out of this feud, and I'm here for it. I really enjoyed this match. I thought the styles clashed, no pun intended, perfectly here. What were your thoughts on this main event, Slick Vic?
Well, AJ still moves extremely well. Like, the man has not lost a step yet. We're gonna lose AJ sometime this year.
Yeah.
And John lost a step. John Cena, unfortunately, he knew it was time to retire. He knew he lost a step. AJ still looks great. He's gonna go out on top, so that's cool. But there was the chop from Gunther to AJ while AJ was perched on the ropes and then took a big bump on the outside was fantastic. I did like the was it the 450 leg drop onto Gunther's leg?
Was it a flip? Was it a 450? It might have been. I thought it was just a springboard.
That was good, yeah. You mentioned that too. I wrote that down too. It was fantastic. But I also like how Gunther would always capitalize whenever AJ slipped or was distracted for a beat. That was good. It's classic heel stuff. And both these guys can have good matches with anybody, and this is no different. This was great.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't mind the screwy finish because we're gonna get more of this, and I'm fine with that. I mean, a Gunther AJ Styles program, I'm in. I'm in. I'll sit around for this ride.
This was good because even going back a couple of weeks to the when Gunther was asked to leave by Adam Pearce and AJ was waiting out by the car, you knew it was going to happen. But at that point, I wasn't really excited about it. I didn't care. And then you have the confrontation in the ring a week or two ago between AJ and Gunther where AJ slapped the shit out of him. And then I'm like, okay, well, this is definitely going somewhere. And then from that, we get the match. And this is one of the first times that I can remember something this booking carrying week to week to week, and then you get the match and you actually want more of it. So it's really good. I mean, and we can say what we want about AJ. It goes without saying. He's a living legend. He's still, like you said, he's not lost a step. But goddamn, Gunther, we are fortunate to live in a time where we have a Gunther. And we're fortunate that the WWE allows somebody like Gunther to exist, because he is one of the best things in WWE right now, in my opinion. So, good job to both guys. Decent Raw. There were some problems. It wasn't perfect. Maybe a 5, maybe a 6 out of 10, considering the main event saved it a little bit. A lot like SmackDown, but a decent Raw. Definitely want to watch that main event. The rest of it, hit or miss.
Yep.
Slick Vic?
Yep.
And can I get a Jesus for that?
Jesus!
I'm sorry, it took me a second. I'm slow on the Jesus tonight.
I was like, do you want me to say it?
Well, I was hoping
like
that you would.
into my soul there.
I was hoping that you would come in and say it, because I was like, oh, scrolling. Where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? Can't find him. But yeah, okay. So that was Monday Night Raw, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, we have This Day in Wrestling History, followed by Guess What? And we're going to be playing Guess the Pay-Per-View. And I have to be pulling up some pay-per-views for Slick Vic to guess. Vic, do you want to take a break before we jump into This Day in Wrestling History? A brief pause?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a pause for the cause. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we're back from that brief commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, to wrap up this episode of Wrestling with Power, we got a couple of more segments for you. The first one, This Day in Wrestling History, presented by Slick Vic. And go.
So in 2000, WCW held a pay-per-view called Sold Out. And the main event was Sid Vicious defending the WCW Heavyweight Championship against Chris Benoit.
Vacant.
So Chris Benoit wins the match and becomes WCW Heavyweight Champion. And that was the last time we saw Chris Benoit in a WCW ring, because I think it was like 2 weeks later, he was on WWE TV with the Radicals. So the match itself, I don't really remember the match all that well. But the fallout from the match, I think, is very, very memorable, because I remember that episode of Raw where the Radicals debuted. The Radicals being Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, and Perry Saturn. We just saw 4 WCW guys jump ship on the same night. They're sitting in the front row. That was wild. That was crazy. I don't know if you remember that episode, but if you do,
yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it. How did you feel?
Well, I wasn't actively watching WCW at the time. I knew that they were WCW guys, but I didn't understand the magnitude of it. I certainly did not know that Chris Benoit had won the World Championship 2 weeks prior. That's crazy. Obviously, WCW management didn't know either that he was going to be jumping ship, or they probably wouldn't have went that way. But yeah, that's a wild turn of events. It definitely puts a new spin on the Radicals debuting in the WWF.
If I remember correctly, I was reading that Kevin Sullivan was booking WCW at the time, and in an effort to keep Chris Benoit from jumping ship, he put the title on him. But it wasn't good enough.
Maybe it was in the cards. Maybe Chris was talking about it, and they were like, we'll put the title on him, he'll stay. But it didn't work. Okay.
Exactly. Also, in 2000, I want to segue into something else quickly, because this is also ties into news, because I've been seeing a lot of news headlines about this too, and relates to Chris Benoit, because The Miz was on Chris Van Vliet's podcast recently, and he told a story about the time he was kicked out of the locker room. Have you ever heard this story?
No. I'm intrigued.
When the Miz debuted, I think it was 2006. So, God, it's 20 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't name drop this person, but this story has been floating around on the internet for many, many years that the Miz was kicked out of the locker room by a respected locker room leader. And he didn't mention Chris's name on the podcast. But he said, well, one day that guy went away and I was allowed back in the locker room. Well, he had to get Undertaker's permission first.
Yeah.
But yeah, because if you look up Chris Benoit right now, or even if you look up the Miz, you'll see stories about saying, "Hey, the Miz details the time Chris Benoit kicked him out of the locker room."
Why did he kick him out?
Well, the Miz ate some chicken in the locker room, and apparently it got on Chris Benoit's bag. The Miz denies that he made a mess. And he just says they were out to get him because he was the reality show guy.
Right.
So
okay,
this is not the first time we've heard stories about Chris being a bully. Do you remember the Daniel Puder incident? And
yeah, I do. Yeah.
Got
his ass kicked.
Yeah. And speaking of bullies, one of the people in that Royal Rumble match that decided to teach Daniel Puder a thing or two is the next installment of this day in wrestling history. It's in 2009. Hardcore Holly was released from WWE after a 16-year-long run. Any memories of good old Bob Holly?
I remember him being aggressive. One of the harder hitting people I've seen in professional wrestling, period. Big name in the hardcore division, obviously. Hardcore Holly. But yeah, a great wrestler. I mean, his pedigree speaks for itself. Like you said, once he left, I don't think he ever came back, not even for a special appearance.
No.
So,
yeah. Bob, I mean, he was a career-long job guy. I think he even admitted that in his book. I read his book a long time ago. And the big takeaway I got from his book was, I'm one tough son of a bitch. Yeah, I'm going to remind you how tough I am every chapter of this book.
He was one tough son of a bitch. I don't think of Hardcore Holly as a job guy, even though he was, obviously. But when I think back on Hardcore Holly, I don't think of him as a job guy.
Okay, I mean, he was kind of that lower mid card heel that would usually put the baby faces over.
Yeah.
But I sent you a clip off air before we started. When Bob Holly debuted, he wasn't Hardcore Holly. He was Thurman Sparky Plug.
Thurman Plug.
But
my friends call me Sparky.
You can call me Sparky too. Bullshit. This guy has no friends.
No.
Oh man. I mean, that wasn't a terrible gimmick when they tweaked it to just Bob Spark Plug Holly. I mean, it was the mid '90s. Everyone had a job outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
Being a race car driver, I guess, was better than being a garbage man or a
When did he debut again? When did Thurman Plug debut?
I think it was either 93 or 94.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
NASCAR was big deal at that time.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he was a two-sport champion, and he can't wait to run over his opponents.
And when I get to the WWF, I'm gonna show him. God, it's so bad.
I'm gonna put the pedal to the metal on the WWE.
Put the pedal to the metal.
Oh, so
Thurman Plug.
I highly recommend our listeners check out those Thurman Sparky Plug.
We'll post. You know what? We'll post it. I need to make a notepad document right now because earlier I said I was going to post something on the Facebook page, and we will also do Thurman Plug debut.
Yeah. My friends call me Sparky.
All right, good stuff.
That's pretty much the this day in wrestling history that I found, some meat I can chew on and talk about with you.
There you go. Well, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Thank you, Slick Vic. From that, we're going to move on to some more Guess What. This is a segment that we started last week. It's called Guess What. And each and every time that we do this, we are going to change it. It's going to be Guess the Wrestler, Guess the Champion, Guess the Pay-Per-View, one of the three. And like I had mentioned earlier, I have tweaked this a little bit. Last week when we did it, I know Vic was timed. He had like 60 seconds to answer. I felt like that wasn't fair and that wasn't really conducive to a good segment. So I've changed the rules a little bit. We will reveal those rules as the different segments come up. But as far as this week goes, this week is Guess the Pay-Per-View. Now, I know that Slick Vic is a fan of WWF going all the way back to the early 90s. He was also a fan of WCW, a little bit of ECW in there. He's familiar with TNA. So that gives us a good 20 years of WCW, WWE, WWF, maybe even ECW and TNA pay-per-views, champions, wrestlers to talk about that he might be familiar with. To even this out a little bit, Slick Vic, and we haven't talked about this in depth just yet, tonight is Guess the Pay-Per-View. Now, the rules for Guess the Pay-Per-View are as follows. First of all, there is no time limit. I'm not going to be limiting Slick Vic on his guesses. He has the rest of his life to figure this out.
You're going to be waiting a while.
Hopefully, Vic. Second, just to describe what we're going to do here, a card and the results of that card are given for a particular pay-per-view. The contestant must correctly guess the year, the promotion, and the pay-per-view name of the event. The contestant being Slick Vic. And
what's I'm telling you right now, if this isn't WWF or WCW, it's gonna be you're gonna be in for a long night. You'll be serving hard times.
Last but not least, the contestant may request. Here you go, Slick Vic. This is a lifeline. This is like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire over here. The contestant may request to have the name of the promotion or the year given to them for help. So, the three things that you have to guess, Slick Vic, are the year, the promotion, and the pay-per-view name. You can request to have the year or the promotion given to you, but not the pay-per-view name. All right? And no time limit. So that evens it out pretty good. All right. Slick Vic, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. The first one for Guess the Pay-Per-View, I wish I had a soundbite for this, but I don't. I'm going to give you the entire card and then give you some time to think about it. Match number one, Jason Jett defeated Kwee Wee by pinfall. Number 2, Elix Skipper and Kid Romero defeated the Filthy Animals. The Filthy Animals being Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio Jr. by pinfall. Number 3, Shawn Stasiak with Stacy Keibler defeated Bam Bam Bigelow by pinfall. Number 4, Team Canada, which consisted of Lance Storm and Mike Awesome, defeated Hugh Morris and Conan by pinfall. Before I continue, Vic, I do want to mention that if you ever wanted to write these down or make notes, you are allowed to do so. All right, continuing on. Number 5, Shane Helms defeated Chavo Guerrero Jr. by pinfall. This was a singles match for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, and I just gave you the promotion. My bad. That's my fault.
I did know it, though. I did know it.
Yeah, I figured you knew that part. Back on number 2, by the way, Elix Skipper and Kid Romero defeating the Filthy Animals. This was for the inaugural Cruiserweight Tag Team Championship. All right, continuing on. Number 6, the Natural Born Thrillers of Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo defeated Totally Buffed Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell by pinfall. This was a tag team match for the World Tag Team Championship. Number 7, Ernest Miller with Miss Jones defeated Canyon by pinfall. Number 8, Booker T defeated Rick Steiner by pinfall. This was a match for the United States Heavyweight Championship. Number 9, Dustin and Dusty Rhodes defeated Ric Flair and Jeff Jarrett by pinfall. And number 10, Scott Steiner with Madaja defeated DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, by technical submission. This was a Falls Count Anywhere match for the World Heavyweight Championship. And that is your card, Slick Vic.
Okay, so I got to name the promotion, the year, and the event.
Yes. I already gave you the promotion. To
WCW's. Not for the year? Man. I am going to say this was 2000.
Okay.
Or do I have to, or not yet?
Well, I mean, you have to, I haven't decided that much. I mean, you have to have a final answer of promotion, year, and event. So
I get a lifeline that'll give me what again?
Yeah, well, it will tell you either the year or the promotion. And I already gave you the promotion by accident, so you can take a lifeline if you wish.
Go ahead, give me the lifeline.
The lifeline. So you want what do you want?
I already know the promotion, so give me the year.
The year is 2001.
2001. Okay.
There you go.
Jeez. Well, there wasn't that many pay-per-views for WCW 2001. I'm going to say it was...
Good call.
Sin.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
WCW Sin was one of the pay-per-views that year. Unfortunately, Slick Vic, this was not it.
Sorry.
This was WCW Greed 2001. Greed was the final professional wrestling pay-per-view event produced by World Championship Wrestling, and it took place on March the 18th, 2001. The last pay-per-view of WCW. All right, Slick Vic. You had everything. I even accidentally gave you the... All right, let's move on. Next one. We've got 1, 2, 3 more left. Do you want 3 more? Do you want them all? Do you want 1 or 2 more? It's your call, Vic. You're the contestant.
Give me another one. Let's see how I do.
All right, let's see how you do here. All right, so the card. Number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Yokozuna. He defeated Yokozuna. I'm sorry. Number 2, Owen Hart with Clarence Mason defeated Savio Vega. Number 3, the Smoking Guns, which consisted of Billy and Bart Gunn, with Sonny, defeated the New Rockers, Marty Jannetty and Leif Cassidy. The Godwins, Hirio Godwin and Phineas I. Godwin, with Hillbilly Jim, and the Body Donnas, Skip and Zip. This was for the Tag Team Championship. Number 4, Psycho Sid defeated the British Bulldog. Number 5, Goldust with Marlena defeated Mark Marrow with Sable. Number 6, Jerry Lawler defeated Jake Roberts. Number 7, Mankind defeated The Undertaker with Paul Bearer. This was a Boiler Room Brawl. And number 8, this was a match for the World Championship of a promotion that I will not name. Shawn Michaels, the champion, with Jose Lothario, defeated Vader with Jim Cornette.
This is WWF SummerSlam 1996. Final answer.
God, you got it right on the nose, Slick Vic. Good job, sir. You must be very familiar with that SummerSlam.
I as soon as you said Austin and Yokozuna, I was like, oh, I know that. I'm like, they've only touched once.
Okay,
Plus
there you go.
Yeah, there's the Boiler Room Brawl is an iconic match.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Shawn and Vader is kind of funny for the backstage politics.
Yes. All right. So,
hit me with another one.
Well, I will hit you with another one. And here we go, Slick Vic. All right, so this might get you here. Number 1, Eddie Guerrero defeated Disco Inferno. Number 2, Paul Orndorff defeated the Renegade.
I know which promotion this is.
Number 3, Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko defeated the Blue Bloods, which consisted of Lord Steven Regal and Earl Robert Eaton. Number 4, Craig Pittman defeated VK Wall Street. Number 5, Johnny B. Bad defeated Diamond Dallas Page with the Diamond Doll and Max Muscle. This was a match for the World Television Championship. Number 6, Randy Savage defeated the Zodiac. Number 7, Kurawasa with Colonel Robert Parker defeated Road Warrior Hawk. Wow, that's weird. Seeing Hawk and Animal and not in a tag team match. Number 8, Sabu with the Sheik defeated Mr. JL. Number 9, Lex Luger defeated Ming by disqualification. Number 10, Sting and Ric Flair defeated Brian Pillman and Arn Anderson by disqualification. Number 11, a sumo monster truck match. Hulk Hogan defeated the Giant. Number 12, Randy Savage defeated Lex Luger. And number 13, a match for the World Heavyweight Championship. The Giant with the Taskmaster defeated Hulk Hogan, who was the champion, with Jimmy Hart by disqualification. And that is your card, Slick Vic.
WCW Halloween Havoc 1995. Final answer.
You totally Googled that.
No, I didn't.
You totally Googled it. You cheat. You're a cheater. Oh, he got it right on the nose.
You can't prove anything.
I can't. You're right. I can't prove nothing. Oh, you got me, brother. Oh, you got it.
You got me, brother.
Wow, you hit it right on the nose. Good job, Slick Vic. Wow. Awesome. Very impressive. Very impressive. All right, we got one more, Slick Vic. We're going to do one more. This is one more because this is all I've got. And you might get this right on the nose. I think this might be a fairly easy one for you. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. No typing. No Googling. First match. Jacqueline with Terry Runnels defeated Ivory with D'Lo Brown by pinfall. Second match, D'Lo Brown. And by the way, Slick Vic, if you think you know it, before I get done with the card, you can go ahead and guess. It won't count against you. Second match, D'Lo, it's got 1 and 2. I guess these took place on a pre-show. D'Lo Brown and Test win when Draws and the Godfather eliminated each other. This is a battle royal to determine the number 1 contender for the Tag Team Championship. Number 3, Hardcore Holly. Hey, Sparky Plug. Defeated Billy Gunn and Al Snow by pinfall. This is for the Hardcore Championship. Number 4, this was a match for the Tag Team Championship in which Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett, the champions, with Deborah, defeated D'Lo Brown and Test with Ivory. Oh, this is going to be a giveaway right here. Number 5, this was a Brawl for All match. Butterbean defeated Bart Gunn. Number 6, Mankind defeated The Big Show by disqualification.
Okay, I got the card. I got the answer here.
You don't want the rest of the card? Okay.
I know the main event. It's Austin and The Rock.
Oh, God, okay. Yeah, Butterbean gave it away, didn't it? The Brawl for All. Okay. Yeah.
WWF WrestleMania 15.
All right, Slick Vic, you got the last one. Good job, sir. Awesome. Awesome job. I stumped you on that first one, but the rest of them I couldn't take you out. All right, so that
2001 WCW.
WCW. Yeah, that was a good one,
big
man.
Boys play. Yeah.
That was a good one, man. Guess the pay-per-view. I think I have the rules and regulations pretty fair. Would you say, Slick Vic?
Yeah.
Pretty fair. No time limit. I don't like the time limit. The time limit made me feel like I was putting you on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I didn't like that. So, before we segue into the ending here, Slick Vic, I do want to go over a couple of things with you here that we haven't really talked about. And we'll go ahead and hit the gong for the people out there, because the show is ending. But in respects to the Guess What segment, which I love, already I love it. Guess the Champion, which we did last week. New rules, no time limit. Contestant must guess the wrestler based only on their championship accolades. Only championships won in major promotions are provided. The champion in question must have spent some time in WWE, but does not have to have won any championships in WWE. Contestant can request a hint about the wrestler. The hint may be anything about the wrestler. So basically the same thing we did last week without the time limit. I think that's the most difficult one. And then I have a Guess the Wrestler, maybe a little bit easier, where you must guess the wrestler based on a variety of info given, such as the hometown, promotions worked for, major championships won, etc. The wrestler in question must have spent some time in WWE. Contestant may request a multiple choice option, where 4 wrestler names will be provided, with 1 being the correct answer. So, we got those 2. We got Guess the Pay-Per-View as well. You did fantastic on Guess the Pay-Per-View. Solid job, my friend. And that's what I got. That's what's down the pipeline, ladies and gentlemen, for the future. As of right now, with Wrestling with Power, this is episode 23. Next week, we will be coming back, maybe on January the 22nd, which is our normal day of Thursday, but maybe on Friday, or maybe on Saturday, or maybe on Sunday. I don't know. The weeks are getting more busy for me, Slick Vic, I must say. And I know the weekend is the time to unwind. That's the time we want to spend not worrying about, things that we have to do. So, but I don't know. The week's pretty busy for me right now. So who knows? In a week, coming up, episode 24, we're going to have, of course, the SmackDown, the Raw review. This is the episode where we are going to be doing our retro review of a retro Royal Rumble. So far we haven't had any requests. Any requests are appreciated. Anybody that wants to see any retro Royal Rumble, just throw it out there. If not, we'll decide ourselves. It doesn't matter. Next week we're doing a retro Royal Rumble. Whether you like it, learn to love it, because it's the best thing going today. And then we have Slick Vic's picks for Saturday night's main event, which will take place the following Saturday on January the 24th. Saturday night's main event. And of course, the card for that show, I don't think it's filled out yet. But I think there's there's the tournament that you mentioned earlier that will lead to the Fatal 4-Way at the event. So we'll have some Slick Vic's picks for Saturday night's main event. Of course, the week after that, we're going to have the results of those, as well as the Gigawatts ratings coming back, and some more fun stuff. But that has been Wrestling with Power this week, ladies and gentlemen. Slick Vic. Woo! What an episode. Good times were had. Is there anything you want to leave the population with?
Well, as I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, I want to thank you all for riding with us and hanging out with us, having fun with us. We enjoy it. So why don't you all drop us a line and tell us which Rumble to watch. Mosley, tell them where they can find us.
Well, you guys can find us first and foremost on Facebook.com/WrestlingWithPower. That is where we are live right now. That is where you can go and post your thoughts about what your favorite Royal Rumble is. What Royal Rumble do you want to see us review in our retro review next week? Also, to get the full edited versions of our episodes, go to youtube.com/@WrestlingWithPower. By the way, I finally have secured that URL. Before it was Wrestling with Power Podcast. Now it is @Wrestling with Power. We own the world, baby. And over on Spotify, just search up Wrestling with Power. You're going to find us right there. Very easy to find. Our episodes going all the way back to the very first. You can see, you can see as we've progressed all the way through to today. And of course, today was episode 23, so we've been at it for a few weeks. Slick Vic, that's all I got, man. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. And I want you to, everyone out there, I'll let you end this, Slick Vic, because I usually end it. But I will let you end it today. Everyone out there, make sure in 2026 you get on your resolutions and stay powerful.
Thank you for listening. Well, I guess I'm supposed to talk some more here, huh?
You're supposed to give your line, Slick Vic. Give your line. I know you gave it before, but you got to give it again now. What's your line, Slick Vic?
I want to wish everybody the best in their future endeavors.
That's it. All right.
I got it.
God. If it ain't one thing, it's another.
Jesus! Woo!
Woo! See you next time, everybody.